Excellent. Okay, we are going to get started. Good afternoon, everyone. You are joining the RiverWoods Exeter 101 presentation. This is a monthly presentation that we host to help people get familiar with Riverwoods and figure out if this is a place they might want to consider visiting and eventually perhaps moving into someday. My name is Lisa Clark. I am sales manager here at RiverWoods. I am joined by Chrissy Cady, who is a senior living sales counselor here. And between Chrissy and I, it's our role to help you get educated on our community and determine if this is someplace you might want to consider joining a wait list and then eventually moving into. So we're going to be covering quite a bit of information today. Everyone on the webinar is on mute, but we are going to present an opportunity for you to submit questions at the end of our presentation. You will be able to submit your questions through the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We do not take questions during the course of the presentation. We reserve them for the end. So I would encourage you to wait until the end because we cover a lot of information. We will probably be answering most all the questions that may be in your heads right now. We always welcome suggestions on how we can improve these presentations. So if you have an idea on how we can be better at what we're doing, or if you have an idea for a future topic that you think would be of interest, please let us know, and we'd be happy to entertain creating a webinar around that particular topic. So we always like to start by talking a little bit about the history of Riverwoods. Riverwoods was the original dream of these two women. It was birthed around the kitchen tables of Mariana Hatch, who lived in Durham, and Rosemary Coffin, who lived in Exeter. And they began planning in the early 1980s for Riverwoods with a goal of building a community where they could meet new friends, get involved in causes that they cared about, and stop worrying about their future healthcare needs. So they did a lot of research and they created RiverWoods Exeter, which opened in 1994. And today, more than 40 years after their first meeting, their dream has come true with the creation of 3 vibrant communities in New Hampshire. So, what began as a dream of a small group of New Hampshire residents who wanted to create a better way to improve the experience of aging for others has now evolved into these 3 communities. A dynamic family of 3 not-for-profit continuing care retirement communities, all with the same mission of improving the experience of aging. All 3 of the Riverwoods communities share the same values, and they are advised by a volunteer board that is focused on operations. Chrissy and I represent strictly the Riverwoods Exeter community. The Manchester and Durham communities host similar presentations like this, but we each keep a separate wait list. So if you're interested in exploring those, we encourage you to go on our website and you can check out the events that Manchester and Durham also host. So today, Riverwoods is as I said, a family of 3 communities. The Riverwoods Group is the supportive organization that provides professional fee-based services to these 3 communities. So these would include services such as human resources, marketing, information technology, finance, and then quality. And the quality is overseeing our healthcare services. The Riverwoods Group also will fund any at-risk projects within the 3 communities, as well as any new ventures. Each of the 3 communities are financially independent of one another, and a portion of the entry fee that you pay when you move in is used to offset some of the costs of supporting the Riverwoods Group and the professional services that they provide. The Riverwoods Group is advised by a volunteer board of directors who are focused on mission and growth. And then we also have what we call a CCRC board, which is a board of directors that's really the governing body for the communities, focused more on the sort of day-to-day operations. So we're going to drill down now into RiverWoods Exeter, which has three campuses, and all located here on about 220 acres of land in Exeter. The original campus is called the Woods. We opened that in 1994. It has a little over 200 apartments there. No cottages, it's strictly all apartments. And in 2004, 10 years later, we opened the Ridge campus, which has 81 apartments and 11 cottages. And then 6 years after that, we opened the Boulders in 2010, which has 75 apartments and 24 cottages. You will find the largest two-bedroom apartments at the Ridge and the Boulders, along with the cottages, but they all have really a variety of sizes from one bedroom up through large two bedroom in the main buildings. It's important to know when you're looking at communities whether they are accredited. And we are really proud to say that we are accredited by an organization known as CARF. And CARF stands for the Commission for the Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. We fall into that category because we have a rehabilitation facility here that's part of the spectrum of healthcare services that we offer at RiverWoods. So CARF is a nonprofit accreditor of health and human services worldwide, but only about 10% of continuing care retirement communities are actually accredited. And RiverWoods Exeter was among the earliest to become accredited back in 1999. Every 5 years, we need to reapply and become reaccredited. So we did that in 2024. So we were reaccredited then for an additional 5 years. If you are interested in learning more about CARF, you can go to their website, which is carf.org. If you're looking at other communities, you can look up on that website to see if they are also accredited. So I'd like to talk about really what is RiverWoods offering. So we are offering what's called life care. And it is considered to be a smart financial solution. So when you're looking at communities like RiverWoods, they might talk about them as life care communities, or they might use the language of continuing care retirement communities. Either way, what you're purchasing when you come into a community like RiverWoods is long-term care insurance. We are governed by the state insurance commission in which we operate. We have an entry fee that you pay when you move into the community. Our standard contract offers you a 90% refundable entry fee. So when you either move out or you die, 90% of what you paid to move in goes back to your estate. So in that sense, it's considered a form of estate preservation. And then in addition to the entry fee that you pay, you will pay monthly fees. And RiverWoods Exeter has what's called a Type A contract. And what that means is the monthly fees that you pay cover any level of care that you're receiving, whether you're living in independent living or you're living in assisted living or long-term care. There's no change in fee if you need to move to a higher level of support, whether it's temporary or permanent. You continue to pay the same fee that you were paying as if you were living in an independent living residence. And many people find that appealing because it gives them some predictability in terms of what their costs will be as they continue to age. We offer quite a spectrum of care here. I mean, the main reason people come to a continuing care community is so they can have that peace of mind that there will be care provided for them as they age. So we are resourced to care for you really from the time you get here with our wellness clinics. So we have wellness clinics at each of our three campuses here in Exeter. They are staffed by a nurse practitioner as well as a registered nurse. And then we also have a social work team and some LNAs. So they are there available to you on a walk-in basis. They have clinic hours in the morning. So if you're not feeling well, you can drop in there, see the nurse or nurse practitioner. and be treated. They can do blood pressure checks and wound care. They can do flu vaccines, lab work. They can set up referrals to specialists, as well as do medication management. They also are there to support you as your needs increase and have that conversation with you about whether it's time to move to a higher level of supported living, such as assisted living or memory support. So the wellness clinics are a wonderful resource. They do not replace your primary care physician, but they are there to support you with minor things and can also often save you a trip to see your primary care physician. In addition, at our wellness clinics, we have monthly visits from dermatology, an audiologist. We have a hearing and balance person that comes in and helps with hearing aid adjustments. We have a podiatrist that comes in, and then we also run a foot care clinic. So there's a lot of other specialties that we find our residents, a lot of our residents need to have access to, and we provide that convenience of bringing those services on site. Beyond that, as your needs increase, we have assisted living apartments for both singles or couples. And then we have a level of care that we call enhanced assisted living. Enhanced assisted living is offering you round-the-clock nursing for long-term memory support as well as nursing care. And that is provided in private suites to you. So you will never have to worry about sharing a room with anyone. So it's a nice, secure place as your needs increase to really kind of the highest level that you would probably need through end of life. We also can offer respite care. So this would be if you needed to go in temporarily into the healthcare lodge. You might have had a bad case of COVID or the flu, and just need somebody to be taking care of you, making sure you're hydrated. Or it might be a situation where you've had a procedure done and you just need to kind of have a little TLC, somebody helping you as you recover in the healthcare lodge before you go back to independent living. Respite care can also be used for a spouse. So if you are a primary caregiver living in independent living with your spouse and they need a little support and you need to go away to travel somewhere, you could actually tap into our respite care services for that sort of situation. So what all this means is it really provides peace of mind, not only for you, but for your family, that there's one organization that's really has an umbrella of services that can care for you regardless of what your level of need is. We're going through oh, let me touch on this. We have medical leadership here. We have a medical director here named Lauren Damaris, and she is actually a contracted physician through Vantage Healthcare. Lauren's role is really to collaborate closely with our wellness clinic, nurse practitioners, our directors of nursing, and our quality department. So she's overseeing our healthcare lodge, specifically those who are in long-term care, nursing care. And then we also have several hospitals and specialists in the area. We're located just a few miles from Exeter Hospital, which is where many of our residents will get procedures done, as well as we use it for emergency treatment. We also have access about 30 minutes away to Portsmouth Regional Hospital, which is known for their cardiac care. And then we have also Wentworth Douglas Hospital in Dover, which is about 30 minutes away. And that's part of the Massachusetts General Network. And then we're about an hour to the Boston Hospital. So there's a lot of good healthcare resources off-site as well as on-site here. So all this adds up really to being a smart financial decision for you, and that you're able to access our healthcare services while keeping a consistent monthly service fee. There will be an additional charge for two more meals a day if you enter any sort of level of healthcare, because we want to make sure that you are staying well fed. And there may be additional fees for out-of-pocket things like walkers or other medical equipment. We're going through a little bit of an evolution with our healthcare services. If you're in the local market, you may have heard about this because there's been some media coverage around this. The way we were originally structured and built our three campuses is that they each have a healthcare lodge. So each campus currently has an area where people can go into assisted living, long-term care, as well as memory support. And then at one of the campuses, we also have a short-term rehab unit. But we've had a lot of challenges with this because since we originally opened RiverWoods, back in 1994, there have been a lot of changes in the healthcare landscape. So we're finding it challenging to keep up with staffing, trying to staff three small healthcare centers. We have pretty limited amenities in some of these healthcare lodges, and we're running into sort of antiquated buildings, which really limit our ability to implement some of the updated technology that's being used within healthcare environments today. So we have decided to head in a different direction, given the change in the healthcare landscape over the last, 35 years, 40 years. So we are planning to actually centralize these three healthcare lodges into one new location that will house all of these levels of care that we previously had at the three separate locations. The goal really is to streamline our clinical operations, improve how we coordinate care between these various levels of care, and really enhance our residents' ability to access services like fitness and art studios and different amenities that they may not have access to today. The timeline is to be determined. We're going through sort of the approval process right now in terms of zoning and other matters, but we're hopeful that we'll be getting through those in the coming year, and then we'll have more updates for the timeline. Once we complete this healthcare lodge, though, we're going to be adding more independent apartments in those spaces that were formerly occupied by the healthcare lodges. So each campus will be adding apartments. We expect to add about 75 new apartments across the three campuses, variety of sizes yet to be determined. But it'll be helpful because, as you may have heard, we have a long wait list, so that'll help more people get into the community, into independent living. We're really happy to announce that we have been voted the best of New Hampshire, not only for assisted living, but also for retirement community. So this news just came out about a month ago. And then we also are rated 5 stars by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So that really speaks to the quality of care that our residents are receiving when they live at RiverWoods. I'd like to talk a little bit about the services that are included here in your monthly service fee that I spoke about earlier. We have a really flexible dining program, which I'm going to talk about on the next slide. You will have access to fitness centers and indoor pools at each of our three campuses. We run about 60 classes a week for group fitness classes, so lots to do to stay fit. We have a real variety of entertainment and cultural opportunities. So we're bringing entertainment on campus in terms of music, guest speakers. Chrissy's going to talk a little bit more about that in terms of the type of programs that we offer here. And then we have a fantastic courtesy transportation team. So we have buses, we have little cars, big cars. We get you where you need to go, whether it's to the grocery or the bank or the bus station or the train station or medical appointments. So really great transportation system that's also getting people between our three campuses. That's covered by your monthly service fee. We also will come in and clean your home every 2 weeks with our housekeeping department. And we also will offer you flat linen service, which is laundering your sheets and your towels on a weekly basis. We will take care of all of the interior and exterior maintenance on your home. So, if your dishwasher breaks or, something falls off, the outside of your cottage, we will be there to fix that for you. Your monthly service fee will also include utilities. So your heat and air conditioning, your electricity, your water, all of that will be included in your monthly service fee. There is a nominal fee for cable TV and internet access and local phone service. But we cover all the rest of the utilities by your monthly service fee. And then lastly, we provide 24-hour security and emergency response. So there is technology built into our residences that allow you to kind of have a way to alert us if you have an emergency within your apartment or cottage. We also have pendants that you are able to wear that can alert us if you have fallen or need other support. And then we have a 24-hour security team who is, constantly driving around and checking on buildings and making sure that everything is in good order. So all of these items are included in your monthly service fee. So let's talk about dining because that's really an important part of the socialization process here, as well as, of course, your physical well-being and your health. The way our dining plan works is you will receive a monthly pool of dining points that's included in your monthly service fee. That can be used in a variety of ways. It can be used in the dining room for meals. It can be used for takeout meals. If you have guests visiting, it can pay for their meals. And then we also have a perishable grocery that you can purchase things at using your dining points. The amount of points that you are allocated covers basically a 5-course meal each day, but some people are using that to cover maybe a sandwich at lunch and an entree at dinner. If you don't use all your points, they roll over to the next month. And if you're somebody who likes to do more of your own cooking, we actually have a couple of reduced levels of dining that you could get fewer points, and in exchange, we put a credit on your monthly bill. But if you're somebody who loves to eat out, you can dine at any of our 3 campuses. And we really try to be sensitive to residents' dietary preferences. We're finding more people coming in who either might be preferring a plant-based diet, or they may be, have a gluten intolerance or a dairy intolerance. So we work hard to have options for people who have dietary restrictions. As well as we label our menu as best we can so that we can alert people to what choices might be better for their preferences. We try to source as much as we can through our local New Hampshire farmers. We're really lucky to have great farms in the area. So we're sourcing anything from, produce to meats and dairy items, as well as seafood from the local seacoast area. So this is a picture of one of our dining rooms in the Boulders campus. And in a couple of months, I won't be using this picture anymore because it is under renovation right now. Our Boulders campus is undergoing what we call a new at 15, which means every 15 years, we update the community spaces within our campuses just to keep them fresh and current aesthetics. So this dining room is actually undergoing a transformation right now. And this project at the Boulders campus will be complete in October of this year. So, but it's a beautiful space now. I'm sure it will be a beautiful space in the future. But all 3 of our main dining rooms will have high ceilings like this with beautiful fireplaces. This is a picture of the bistro in the Ridge campus, and the bistro is a more casual dining space. We updated the Ridge campus about 2 years ago, so it has a whole new look. At the Ridge, we have not only this casual space, but in the rear of this photo is entrance into the dining room, which is a little bit fancier and is really where more people are eating their evening meals. This is our country store at the Woods campus. Each campus will have a country store where you can get snacks and drinks. It's open for a few hours a day. It's all staffed by residents. They do all of the purchasing and the stocking and the staffing of these country stores as volunteers of the community. They purchase the items at Market Basket, which is one of our local grocers, and everything is priced the same. Anything you would purchase here would go on your monthly bill. You cannot use dining points for this, but it goes on your monthly bill. But it's quite a convenience for our residents. I'm going to hand it off to Chrissy now, who can tell you a little bit more about really what there is to do here with all of that free time that you have, and get you excited about what there is to do at Riverwoods.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you everybody for being here today. I know you're taking an hour out of your day to listen to what we have to offer here. So I'll be talking about some of the fun things here, what we do here, and what some of the apartments and cottages look like. Right here on this screen, you're looking at one of our residents and her beautiful little dog, Belle. So if you've been enjoying some of the photos of our residents, that is Belle. So we're going to move on to and again, this is our Boulders Hall, our largest community space. And because of all the work we're doing over at the Boulders right now, it is currently looking like a dining room because as our dining room is being refurbished, they're using this space. But we have three community spaces throughout all three campuses. Boulders Hall can fit up to 200 people theater style. And then now we've been using the Great Bay Room for a lot of our events lately, which can hold up to about 125 theater style. And then, of course, our Ridge Room over at the Ridge is a smaller space, but also wonderful for hosting our committee meetings, some speakers, some small groups of entertainers, and our duplicate bridge at the moment. So these spaces are all used for all different kinds of activities that you would see on your biweekly calendar each week. I guess I could say some of the last events we've done, well, quite a bit ago, we hosted an author, Dan Brown, our local author, and we've hosted many candidates here during primary season. And that leads me to talk about our education committee, which is a very active committee here of residents. And their mission is to provide enrichment opportunities to our residents through educational programs throughout all three campuses. And that includes things like lectures, short courses, catering to a variety of interests. And we use both inside speakers and outside speakers. The committee is, as I mentioned, resident run, and they do meet regularly to discuss opportunities. And so they're the ones creating these events and informational sessions. It's really up to residents to decide what they would like to do and have here at Riverwoods. So they're constantly reviewing it and thinking of new opportunities. And then it, of course, is in working in collaboration with our community life staff to promote events and schedule spaces. And so a couple of different events that we've done recently. This one was in March. There was a speaker who came in and she was at our Great Bay Room talking about the hidden world of beavers. That was sponsored by the Mass Audubon Society. And then we have other courses here in person, but sometimes they're like the great courses where it's an 6 or 8 week program that you would watch on in a televised program in probably our Little Bay Room or our Ridge Room. And you would sign up for that and spend 8 full weeks going through those courses. The next one, we have certainly a lot of musical events here. This one here was the instrumental chamber music Phillips Exeter Academy is a wonderful resource for us. We are often invited and welcome to go over there for a lot of the musical and performance events over at their campus. But then they often come here as well. I know they have dress rehearsals sometimes here where residents can go and enjoy watching what seems to be professional musicians perform. And then again, off-site campus, off-site events like the Met and HD, you can get one of our campus service shuttles to take you to one of the operas that they host in one in the Newington theaters. And then on top of that, we have libraries at each of our campuses. This library is the one at our Ridge campus, so it's newly redone, and you can see there's always a puzzle going. And we do have an electronic card catalog. So even if you live at the Ridge and you go in to look for a book there, if you can't find it at the Ridge, you can often find it at the Ridge, at the Boulders or Woods. And our campus service shuttle can take it over to you, or you're welcome to take yourself over to the other campuses' libraries to enjoy other books there as well. Also, as a resident of Exeter, you can always take advantage of the Exeter Town Library, which has even more programs and wonderful events there, and ebooks and things that you can take advantage of in Exeter, right in downtown Exeter. So moving on, after exercising your brain, there are so many things here to do to exercise your body. We have an indoor pool at all three campuses with hot tubs, fully equipped cardio room, and many, many classes throughout the week, over 60 classes a week throughout the three campuses. So you can feel free to walk down the hall and take some laps in one of our indoor pools, take a fitness class by one of our trained instructors. We also have walking groups, cycling groups, hiking groups, and some walking groups actually do off-site hikes, and they promote those and also use our campus service vehicles to take you to an off-site area to hike. But we have over 4 miles of hiking trails here as well, and so anyone who has who loves to hike or has a pet and loves to walk through the woods, those are always available to you as well. You can snowshoe in the wintertime. And right now, we're going to go to the next slide. You're looking at our Boulders pool. This is our largest pool. It's 20 yards long. Our Woods pool is also 20 yards long, but this one is a little bit wider, but it's perfect for lap swimming. And we also, of course, have exercise classes in our pools, aqua aerobics and aqua Zumba, which is a new class for us. Plus the hot tub and a resident run volleyball game, which happens every Wednesday afternoons after lunch. People often wonder where we keep our pool temperature, and we do try to keep it anywhere between 84 and 88 degrees. It's always, a fine art because our exercisers like it a little bit warmer, and our swimmers like it a little bit cooler. So we try to make everybody happy. And then, of course, with all the cardio rooms here, one at each campus, you really have no excuse to get in your 30 minutes of cardio. All the machines here are well maintained, and you can actually have a personal trainer here with one of our staff members at an additional fee, but you can also work out on your own with your own program any time of day at no cost. And then, of course, we've got our pickleball players. We have 2 pickleball courts here. We started with one, and it's such a popular craze that we were asked to build another one. And our pickleball residents, they love to include everybody, bring new people in and teach you the art of pickleball. So if you've never played before, but you've always wanted to, you would have a wonderful opportunity to do that here. And then moving on to our creative spaces. There are the creative spaces, again, all three of our campuses. We've got 2 art studios at the Woods. We've got a pottery studio and painting studio at the Ridge. And we've got creative art spaces also at the Boulders. So you can feel free to explore your creative side no matter where you are. We do have some classes here between the basket weaving, Nantucket basket weaving. We have a resident who comes in, and you can see some of the basket weaving materials right here in this foreground. We also have a painter who comes in and teaches watercolor classes once a week as well. And you can see from this picture, this is one of our art studios at the Woods campus in Pinkham, where there's a lot of great natural light coming in. So we've got a lot of our painters set up right outside those doors. And then, of course, we have our woodworkers. And again, if you have a wonderful wood shop at home and you're lamenting the fact that you might have to give that up someday, have no fear. There is an abundance of supplies at our wood shop with a lot of guys who are very serious about making anything from signs to furniture to cutting boards, beautiful bowls. It's a very active committee of men and women who love to work together and work separately to make some really create beautiful pieces. And then our musicians are also very important to us, and we really get a lot of benefit from our musicians here because any kind of big event we have, we're always employing our residents to perform for us, whether it's our RiverWoods Chorus, our Women's Barbershop Quartet, our String Quartet. We have a lot of people with a lot of different talents, piano players galore. We have plenty of pianos where we love to hear you play. And so we get a lot of benefit from all this musical talent. And again, if you are gardeners who have these beautiful gardens that are probably starting to look fabulous right now this time of year, we also want to make sure you feel good enough to know that we have plenty of garden opportunities here as well. We've got raised garden beds at each campus that you can reserve and you can grow flowers and vegetables. We are the largest arboretum here with over 300 species of trees and shrubs. We just had a resident and staff member who put together a beautiful book about all of the trees and shrubs we have here during the Earth Day celebration. And we also have an active garden committee that works alongside our landscaping team to do a lot of our entry gardens in all of our campuses. If you live on the first floor or if you have a cottage, you can also feel free to do some of your own custom gardening there as well with the help and, well, with the approvals of our landscaping team and our community life team. Now we can move on to showing you some of our apartments and cottages. We have over 40 different floor plans, makes it a little complicated sometimes, but we're going to show you a few examples here. All of our floor plans can be found on our website as well if you ever wanted to scroll through those. But this is one of our cottages over at the Boulders campus. And you will be noticing as we scroll through to different apartments, every apartment here has what we call a solarium, which lets a lot of beautiful natural light into the living room. So you can keep an eye out for that as we move along. But all of our apartments and cottages will feature a fully equipped kitchen, your individually controlled heating and air conditioning, all Wi-Fi enabled. And in our apartments, there's always a storage area. I call it a veritable phone booth, which is about 3 by 4 by 8 feet, so that you can store your seasonal items, your golf clubs, your suitcases, your skis, all those kinds of things. And then, of course, cottages do have ample storage in there as well, with a 2-car garage. And then there is outdoor parking available for all apartments with an additional covered parking at an additional fee. So let's start looking at some of these apartments. This is a Trillium apartment, which is a large 1-bedroom at our Woods campus. And as you can see, that solarium in the background, letting in a lot of really natural light and really giving you a sense of space. You can see some of the standard options that we offer, including the luxury vinyl plank flooring, very neutral colored paint on the walls. And then if you go on to the next slide, you'll see the exact same apartment with the kitchen view. And we are having with our standards some stainless steel appliances, white cabinets if we are replacing cabinets, as well as a choice of quartz or granite on your countertops. This apartment is one of our large two bedrooms over at our Ridge campus called a Magnolia. And you can really see that beautiful solarium. Some people use it as another additional sitting area, reading room, office. Sometimes they put their dining table there, but there's a lot of ample space in this living room area. And we are opening up our kitchens at the Ridge to be counter height counters. So you have plenty of space to do, if you do like to cook or like to bake, it's a beautiful spot for that. And then this picture I love, it's our Cypress apartment over at the Boulders. It's a regular two-bedroom. What I love about this is that we created a nice neutral space for our residents to come in. They brought in things from their home where they previously lived so that they could really make their home feel like it had always had. So they have some beautiful red chairs and a lot of great little pieces that they incorporated into their new home. And the next one is a picture of one of our cottage kitchens. So again, if you love to cook, there's plenty of storage in here, plenty of counter space, and a really nice place to entertain. So I'm sure you are also looking at our outside area, not just at RiverWoods Exeter. So we are quite close to downtown Exeter, a few miles away. We're on over 200 acres right near the Exeter River. We have easy access to Portsmouth and Manchester, an hour from Portland, an hour from Boston. We are quite close to the New Hampshire seacoast, and we also have a great proximity to our mountains and lakes region. So we're in a really great location of Exeter, or of New Hampshire. And also, if you've been doing any more research, you probably already know that New Hampshire has great tax advantages, including no general sales tax, no personal income tax, no capital gains tax. We are a top-ranked New England state and then the third lowest tax burden in the country. So I'm sure some of you are wondering about pricing. You may have already seen this kind of range of pricing. You certainly can ask for a more detailed price sheet. But our prices range anywhere from our studio apartments, which have a square footage of just, over 500 square feet to just under 600, all the way to cottages, which are anywhere from 1,800 square feet to just over 2,000 square feet. And prices range from entrance fee of 248,000 all the way to just over $1 million, with a monthly service fee of anywhere from just over $3,000 a month to just over $9,000 a month. And then if you're a couple, you would add $64,000, which is a non-refundable entrance fee portion, and then $2,129 to your monthly service fee. So if you're wondering at this point in the presentation whether RiverWoods Exeter would be affordable to you, we do have a great tool on our website. And there is a little QR code there. If you have your phone handy, you can certainly take a picture. It would take you right to that part of our website. But you can also search it on our website. And this would be an indicator of affordability. It's not your official financial approval, but it gives you an idea of what you can afford, and kind of gives you a range of the apartment sizes that you would be able to afford here. And it is a secure site, so your information will be protected. It's fast. It takes a few minutes to put together, and it just is a helpful snapshot for you if you're looking to see if it's affordable. So now, after I've talked a little bit about our features here, and you might be ready to join our wait list right now, I'm going to have Lisa take over and give you a little bit of information on that.
Great. Thanks so much, Chrissy. So let's talk about the wait list process because we do have one. The picture you're looking at right now is a group of residents at the Woods campus. They have a very strict dress code there of striped socks, but this is the team of bocce players. We have bocce courts both at the Woods campus as well as the Ridge campus, and then we also have horseshoes at the Woods campus. So we like to have fun outdoors. So, our estimated wait time for residences here is between 3 and 8 years. Our one-bedroom apartments have an estimated wait time of 3 to 5 years, and anything larger than that is generally estimated to be a 6 to 8 year wait time. And that would include our one-bedroom plus den styles. These wait times are purely estimates, but we like to be conservative with our estimates because we don't want you counting on getting here in a year when we know realistically it could be 5 or 6 years. And these wait times, estimated wait times, do not reflect the addition of more apartments here at Riverwoods. When we get a little further down the path of the approvals and the construction timeline for our new healthcare lodge, we will then probably be adjusting our wait times for independent living apartments with the expectation that we would probably be opening those apartments sometime in the 2031 timeframe. If these wait times work for you and you wanted to get onto our wait list, you would complete our application, which is called a confidential data profile, and that would determine your financial qualification. Once you are qualified, you would put down a deposit that's equal to 10% of the entry fee for the floor plan that you are qualified for and interested in. You put down one deposit, and then you can be listed for multiple styles of apartments at or below that price point. We keep a separate wait list for every style of apartment and cottage that we have. So you might appear on multiple wait lists. It's very fluid, dynamic process, flexible process, but it's one deposit. It's 10% of the entry fee for the costliest apartment that you're qualified for. That deposit will earn 4% simple interest while you're waiting to move into Riverwoods. And that 4% interest is only if you become a resident. If you decide to leave the wait list, you will earn 0.25% interest. And we will refund everything except for $1,500 cancellation fee. It's a really flexible process. If you're looking at other communities, you've probably heard about, oh, 3 strikes and I'm out, and are you on the ready list and things like that. We don't keep a ready list. We can call you, and if you say you're not ready or you're not interested, it is not considered a formal offer or refusal. We like to think it's a pretty flexible process. We really want to work with you in the time frame that you're ready. So Chrissy and I are going to go through a few of what are really commonly asked questions, and then time permitting, we'll address anything else that hasn't been addressed in our presentation. If you have a lot of questions, we may want to just line you up with your sales counselor to kind of dig into some of those. But let's let it rip here, Chrissy. You want to take the first one?
Absolutely. First question, I have a long-term care insurance policy. Can I use this at RiverWoods Exeter? So in short, we're considered a long-term care product. So it is a little bit redundant. You don't really need it when you come to Riverwoods. However, if you have one, you've been paying a lot of money on it, and you choose to keep your long-term care policy, you need to check your policy, but often you can start using it when you move into assisted living or then nursing care. Some policies will actually pay for in-home health care if you ever need that while you're living in your independent apartment. So you would be reimbursed for a portion of your monthly service fee once you qualified through your policy.
Okay, next question. What happens if one partner in a couple needs a higher level of care? If you're living here in independent living and one partner needs a higher level of care, they have the option of moving to assisted living, long-term care, or memory care while the healthy partner remains in their independent apartment. The only additional fee would be for 2 more meals a day for the partner who's moving into some level of health care. So you actually would be occupying two apartments or two residences, but continuing to pay roughly the same fee as you did before.
Okay, I'll take the next question. What if I'm not ready to move when you call me about an apartment? Do I go to the bottom of the list? I know Lisa just kind of touched base on this recently, but we always kind of uh, touch on it a couple of times just so that you can understand it. But as you know, we would call you when we got to you on our list and to just ask you, tell you that an apartment is available and ask you if you're ready to pursue the offer. If no, then that's just a phone conversation, no penalty to you at all. You stay on the same position on the list, and we go to the next person down. If you do say yes, you're interested in pursuing the offer, we would then have you requalify. You would do your final financial qualification. You would also have an in-person health assessment with our nurse practitioner. And then at that point, you would be offered the apartment. And if you said yes, that's wonderful. We would move forward. If you said no, that would be considered your first refusal. And so you do have three refusals before you go to the bottom of the list.
The next question is, how long do I have to move into the community once I'm offered an apartment or cottage? So in general, you can expect between 60 and 90 days from the time we offer you an apartment or cottage until it's ready for occupancy. The entry fee would be due at the time the apartment is completed. And that's also when the monthly service fees would begin as well.
All right, and our next question, what if I'm eager to move in, but the apartment style I want has a long wait time? Can I take something smaller and move into something larger? So we always encourage you to be patient and wait until the apartment or cottage that really meets your preference becomes available. We do have an internal move policy, but it's really chiefly designed to support our residents who might have a medical or financial need to move, basically downsize or move closer to the community rooms. We do allow single residents who happen to be adding a second resident to their apartment to move into a larger cottage or apartment. But not, you wouldn't be able to move into a larger unit. If you moved into a one bedroom, you wouldn't be able to move into a two bedroom as a single or as a couple. Did I, might be confusing. Did I answer that all right, Lisa?
Yeah. Okay. So last one of our questions is how can I be assured that RiverWoods is well managed financially? If there's some scary stories out there about some communities that are not well managed and may have gone bankrupt. So we like to, kind of reassure you of our financial stability. RiverWoods has, over a 32-year history of responsible growth. And, now we oversee three not-for-profit communities in New Hampshire. We have earned a really excellent reputation at RiverWoods Exeter's community for financial strength. We have an A- rating by Fitch for our debt management. Our audited financials and a white paper on our financial budgeting philosophy can be found on our website, which it's on the website known as riverwoodsnh.org. So you can find all that there. You'll also find on that section of our website a recording of an annual presentation that we do called Financial Risks and Rewards of Choosing a Life Plan Community, which features our CFO, Kevin Goyette. So there's some great resources there if you're looking for more assurance that you're putting your money somewhere where it will be safe. And while I'm on this topic, we do have a question in the queue asking about what are at-risk projects. We talked about how the RiverWoods Group will fund at-risk projects. So the RiverWoods Group can help loan money to the three communities for projects that may be very early in their stages and the community may not have taken out any formal financing yet. So an example of that might be we're planning a healthcare center. There are fees that and expenses that need to be paid in advance, whether it's to architects or lawyers or things like that. The Riverwoods group might help fund some of that initially, sort of as a loan to the Riverwoods Exeter community, which would later be paid back once the financing comes through. So that would be an example of what we would call an at-risk project when we're planning some sort of expansion at any of our three communities. Okay, so Chrissy, I just answered the first
Yeah,
question in the queue. Would you like to take the next one?
certainly. What is the average residence age and or what um, is the resident age range? Are the average age of residents here is 84, and the average age of people coming into our community is about 78.
Great. And I think she asked about the range too. I think we have people who've moved in as young as maybe 65, and
Oh, sure.
we have people still living independently who are what, 100 and
103 was our
103?
probably
Yeah,
our record of somebody who lived in their independent apartment with no services. Yeah, so wide range.
wide range. Next question, how can we obtain an up-to-date entrance and monthly fee schedule? Your sales counselor, Chrissy, or I, can send that to you. Our fees will be changing on July 1st. That's the beginning of our fiscal year. We don't have those fees yet, but they will be changing in about 6 weeks. Um, and Chrissy, do you want to take this next question?
Sure. Can an independent resident live with someone who has assisted living needs, i.e., someone who needs memory care? Well, the beauty of our community is that we that you can live in an independent residence, and your spouse can be getting a higher level of care in an assisted living apartment or nursing care. There are options that you can discuss once you're having your health assessment with our nurse practitioner about that ability. But for the most part, I would say you would be living separately. You would be living in an independent apartment where your spouse would be living in assisted living.
Okay, I'm going to take a couple of questions here about entry fees. One is there a tiered program of entrance fees, like paying a lower entrance fee with a lower or no refund? We actually do have two other contract types besides the 90% refundable, but the entrance fee is the same on all three contracts. So you always pay the same entry fee. If you went on a contract that had a lesser amount of refund, we have a 50% option and we have a 0% option. You would get a discount on your monthly service fees. And that discount is based on how old you are when you move into the community. Very, very few people go for either of those types of contracts. The large majority of people are going with a 90% refundable, but sometimes there's people who, they don't have heirs to, that they want to pass that refund along to. So that is an option. And I guess we had another. I just answered both of those questions about entry fees. Chrissy, do you want to take the next one from Anne?
Sure. This question was, can we compare the Exeter and Durham communities? There are a few differences. They have a slightly different contract for couples, refundability wise. I don't know too much about that. That would be some you would want to ask a sales counselor in Durham. We don't have Durham does not have a pool. They also do not have cottages, so there's differences there. But as far as like the culture and the look of it, I would, really encourage you to kind of determine that kind of difference yourself by visiting and getting information.
Yeah, great. We have a question about, do we assist with bridge financing for the time between when you accept an apartment and when you're able to sell your home? We do not get involved in any sort of financing. Our experience has been that most everyone is able to sell their home unless they have an extremely high end home. But most everybody is able to sell their homes within the time frame from the time that they have a heads up that we're going to be offering them an apartment until it is completed.
I'll take the question from Brendan. Can you discuss in more detail the medical requirements for entrance, including cognitive abilities and testing for those requirements? So our nurse practitioner really wants to just make sure that you can live safely, separately if it's a couple, independently, safely on your own, and for the community. So they do cognitive testing, and they also will do some strength and balance testing as well. They will ask for the notes from your last primary care visit. And so they just really want to make sure that you can live safely on your own.
Great. And then the last question we have in the queue here, or almost last,
Mhm.
what's the average change in the monthly fee been over the last 5 years? So, well, it's been unusual because, the last 5 years we've been rebounding from COVID. Prior to COVID, our average annual increase was around 2.9% on our monthly fees. Once we got into COVID, that totally changed. Fees went up, I think, about 3.5% the first year, 6% the next year, 8% the next year, and then they came back down to 3.25% and then 3.75% this past year. So we expect that they will be tracking along with inflation on our monthly fee adjustments going forward. So we have one last question here that we will. Well, you want to take this one from Pat, Chrissy, and then we're going to need to wrap it up because we're at our time.
Is the monthly fee the same no matter what level of care you enter at? So you would have to enter into our life care contract for you to have the same monthly service fee as you transitioned into the different levels of care. Every once in a while, we will have the availability for somebody to come in as a direct admission. And that would be a different contract. You would not pay a large entrance fee to move in, but you would be paying a larger monthly fee, which would go up as you needed more levels of care. So the only way to come in where your monthly fee would stay the same would be to come in under the life care contract as an independent resident.
Great. Okay, two more questions. What access do you have to your deposit? You do not have any access to your deposit. Once it's sitting in our hands, the only way you can get it back is if you canceled from the wait list and asked for a refund. And then the very last question I'll take, Chrissy, can one only enter if both people are able to live in independent living? That's generally the case. It really depends on what's happening with if one of you is kind of declining. Sometimes you're able to come into the community if you provide a plan that says this is how my partner is going to be supported if something were to happen to me, the healthy partner. So we handle that on a case by case basis. So that is it for today. We really appreciate you joining us today for this presentation. We hope this has been helpful. You will receive a recording of this in the next day or two. So if you want to go back and reference it again, or if you want to share it with other family members or friends, feel happy to do so. Chrissy and I will be following up with those of you on the call today. If we don't get to you first, feel free to reach out to us. But we really appreciate your time and attention today and hope that you found value in this. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.